Nothing ever prepares you for the fact your life is going to change, probably forever. Nothing ever prepares you for the fact your life is going to change, probably forever.
This is a real drama. No foundation, no powder, no eyebrow pencils, no mascara.
Therefore, 9:14 a.m. Most of the housemates are asleep in the bedroom. Michael and Pete are in the kitchen, talking about Geordie.
I think she's either as thick as pig shit, or she needs extreme help, or it's very calculated to get, you know, to inflict guilt. Anniversary of this death, my dog died. People say my boobs are saggy. It's just like, oh, come on. It's not all about what gets written about, but that's all she cares about, to change the press's perception and make them see what they've done to her.
Well, that's not going to happen.
And people walk up to her in the street and call her a slag and call her this, that, and the other. Well, people use words like that. And she's going, oh, I'd like a bit of ball action. If the spin the bottle came up, do you want to see my vagina? Oh, I used to lap dance and he came in his pants. It's fantastic. I've had an orgy with 5 girls at once. I've got all the Polaroids. I've got 5,000 Polaroids of all my boys' cocks. I like to watch myself in the mirror really fucking because it makes you out like a porn star. I would never do porn. And if somebody says, do you like her? I couldn't say that I didn't like her. I'm cringing. You know, you can take a horse to water, you can't make a drink. You can take a horticulture, but you can't make a think.
Got your hair done at Prestige.
No! You've got the same hairdresser.
Yeah,
Get
exactly.
away. Yeah.
Are you serious? Except I'm never there when mine's done.
I get to know your name. Well, then I could take a private number, baby. All I know is that's me. You look like you're lots of fun. Open up your loving arms. Watch out, here I come. You're scaring me, run.
You know, that'll be alright at the moment.
Would like to move in just a little bit closer.
Good morning, Jodie. Hello.
Hello.
How are you, darling?
Alright, you?
Oh, I'm fabulous, I am this morning. I'm fucking fabulous. Hello, my name's Nancy. I like the red carpet, I do. Look at my gloves. Anyway, back to the show.
Baby, right round, round, round. You spin me right round, baby, right round. Like a record, baby, right round, round, round. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. Move it! I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. Oh!
Pete has been a fashion icon for over 20 years. It was his good looks and flamboyant style that propelled him to stardom. So I asked him to show me his incredible clothing collection.
Well, Gordon, here we are in Narnia.
Yeah, this is more than a wardrobe. Wow.
All of these clothes have led to various stages in my life, but this is not a stage wardrobe. This is the way I live. This is not me being Paris Stilton. Go and look at my wardrobe. This is my wardrobe. I get nothing for free. I get discounts on things because I'm a good clothes hanger, and they're very important to me. Clothes are a walking art. We look at pictures on walls in galleries, and why go to a gallery when you can stick it on yourself and walk around? And clothes can have a magical effect on people or a very detrimental effect. That's the legendary Big Brother coat, which
And it was
is
arrested. It's got a criminal record.
It's got a criminal record, just like me. But you know, it was a gift off Michael. He knew I like furs, and he went to a vintage shop and he got me this fur, and I'm not sorry in the least. So that's all I can say about that. Because
wasn't it?
I mean, come on, they're dead, and why should they just be burned? It's on a coat and it's very respected, and I wouldn't, you know, buy a brand new one. It's a vintage thing, so I'm not guilty. It's so boring.
Pete is now happily married to Michael Simpson. But the first love of his life was Lynn. They met as teenagers and were married for over 20 years. Together they would hang out on the club scene in Liverpool, and it wasn't long before Pete got noticed.
The Sex Pistols came to town and I met them, and the promoter of the club, Roger Eagle, came to me and he said, you have a great time in my club. I said, yes, you get a band, you're never coming in. I went, what? He went, unless you sing, you're never coming in. I was like, I can't sing. He said, you better learn to because you look so great. And then all the American punk wave are coming over, Cherry Vanilla, Wayne County, so many of them, the Heartbreakers, and they kind of adopted me because of my image, and next thing I got a band together with Julian Cope and someone else did one gig, and it kind of went from there in the press. But it was the clothes were always there, and I didn't feel the clothes were just rapping for me, and the music was just a soundtrack for me. So I never consider myself a musician. It's just a way of making people aware that I am me, and ultimately I'm the thing that's for sale. I'm the shop front, and there's so many other things inside.
So this is your shoe collection?
I've always been able to walk in heels, and I think they give you a very good stature, and they make me very aware that I'm out, and I like clothes to be kind of uncomfortable, so I know I'm wearing them. And my shoe collection is, I think men's shoes are so ugly and downtrodden, and I grew up in the principle if something's lovely, you can have it. Just because it's supposed to be for a lady doesn't mean you can have it. But this shoe collection here, the sculptural qualities of some of these actual things that Westwood did.
Oh, wow.
The platform is concealed, and they're just incredible things, and I can run, fight, and climb a drain pipe in those. I just love it, you know. These are like these are the condom for my skin.
Yeah.
Protect me from the world.
Outer skins, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, you know, I've got a huge wig collection.
Can I ask you something? It's just something that popped into my mind and I've got to say it. Did your mother love wigs?
Absolutely.
Because I just, as you did that, I just had a picture of your mother.
Yeah, but
with
we
wigs.
used to have wig parties, and I'd model them and pile them up together, and she'd sell them. She was, and it's like I totally got it. And she'd go, "Look at this! I can be any colour I want." And she'd throw it in the bin, and it's like, yeah, that's so true.
Disposable hair.
Yeah, it takes 2 minutes hair to go, and people say, "Is that your hair?" Yeah, it is. I bought it. I got every colour and every length and stuff like that. And some days I feel like I'm black-haired, and some days I feel like I'm blonde-haired, and other days I feel like I'm red-haired. I sleep in them as well, because it's why shouldn't I?
Pete has always dressed flamboyantly, but refuses to be defined by how other people see him.
Some people have the perception, Pete, that you're a transvestite or drag queen. What do you think of that?
Well, like, you know, really, I'm at the age where I really don't care what they think, but I know what they am, and I think everything is drag. The fact that a man, wakes up in the morning and shaves, and they get the haircut, and they get rid of the grey, and they put the boots on, the jeans, that's drag.
Yeah.
Your drag is to face the world. It's your uniform, and this is my uniform. But it's nothing to, I mean, you know, hundreds and thousands of years ago, men were the ones that wore these things, and it's like now, it's not acceptable. You're supposed to be all macho, and it's just really sad that men are so trapped and in here. It's really sad. I see men, I think, you know what, you could have such fun. Yeah. And it's your friends and your girlfriend, and they're all cramping your style, and you're going to be on your deathbed, and you're going to say, if only I'd worn a wig and some high heels, just one.
Coming up.
Hello? Hello. 通訳の方どこ行っちゃったんだろう。不安だな。あやみゆちゃん。はい。さあ、そうですか。あやみゆちゃん大変ね。あれ通訳ですか？一応ね、打ち合わせでは通訳の方がご一緒だっていう話だったんですけどね。言葉通じませんから僕ね、すいませんね。とにかく個性的なファッションでございますけどね。ご自分のファッションのことをどのように思ってらっしゃるかですね。一つヒートバンドさんにお伺いいただけますか。はい。
Well, it is mainly Japanese designer clothes that we wear anyway. People like Conde Garçon, Yohji Yamamoto.
なんだって言ってるんですよね。
非常に日本のファッションなんかが好きで、やっぱり日本のベーシックに従ったファッションになっているそうです。
This is a real drama. No foundation, no powder, no eyebrow pencils, no mascara.
Wallflower back in the 80s when his single You Spin Me Right Round Like a Record made #1, but...
Got your hair done at Prestige.
No! It's got the same hairdresser.
Yeah,
Get away.
exactly.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Except I'm never there when mine's done.
Now listen, very quickly, we must do ka-ching business. You've got a compilation of greatest hits packs called Evolution coming out, and I think that comes out on April the 17th.
Yeah.
I'm thinking.
It's not so much being released, it's escaping. Because it's been delayed many times. Yeah.
But, I mean, there is genuinely a lot of excitement, because what you've done is, for April the 7th, you're bringing out You Spin Me Round again, but this isn't, you're not re-releasing it, you've done it again.
Yeah, we re-recorded it, so it's a reproduction, just like I am.
But it does still, I have to say, it does still sound like...
I know, and I'm so pissed off. I've got such a strong voice that when I was in the studio...
People now than ever. Do you ever listen to what they say about you?
No, not at all.
Yeah? I mean, like, at the moment, you're huge in Japan, aren't you?
Yeah.
Like, what kind of amount of... You're playing a concert there in October, it's like millions.
No, we're going to be playing to audiences of around about 45,000, but I think that's mainly because Japanese people are big consumers of pop, particularly American pop, and America's where we've had 3 hit singles and 2 big albums. So really in Japan they don't think of us as an English group, it's more of an American thing.
And do you think of yourself as an English group?
Don't really think we belong anywhere. We don't seem to fit firmly into any category. I mean, on one hand you do dance music and you're expected to be a very expected to be a very flamboyant pop personality, which is really not what I am.
Yeah, because you actually look like you should be a flamboyant pop personality, but you are quite a quiet, mischievous guy, aren't you?
Very quiet.
Yeah, what about the mischievous, Pete?
Well, you know, the mischief, but that comes outside of work, really. I have 2 different things. There's work and there's private life.
Yeah, I mean, that whole industry, Pete, after about 3 or 4 years in it, sometimes puts about 25 years on people's faces. You seem to have survived that quite well. Do you keep yourself fit?
I keep myself very fit. I think in a job like this, as long as you're standing on 2 strong legs, you can usually face most things, really.
Yeah. I mean, what about the drink and the drugs, Pete? Do you keep clear of all that?
Not interested in it at all. I think for some people it might work very well, but I know that I'm too vain and too into self-preservation.
Yeah. I mean,
This is tabloid TV, isn't it? And they don't want to expose the nation's youth to people like me because they think I'm going to be really, really strange and unusual and...
But they had you as a guest on Blue Peter.
I know. Yeah. And the things Blue Peter made me do when I was a child. Remember that tortoise they had called Fred?
Not right.
I painted my tortoise. It was a lady, but I painted it Fred, and it died because it was lead-based paint.
How we laugh. No, don't do that. It's wrong. Well, listen, we hope this will be a #1 again, because you'll hear it at the end, and it's brilliant. It's one of my favourite songs ever. Why do I want to see this? Oh, I know why I want to see this. Because, right...
It's got a baby photo in,
this is Dead or Alive. Now, there's Peter now, and here is how nature intended.
Oh, come on, you look, I only went a little bit... There's not that much difference if you look at all the dimensions as nature intended.
Well, no, there you were at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, I mean, the thing is, have you finished?
Oh, no.
No. What next?
It depends on the boredom factor. It's very difficult for people to understand something like this, but in the 80s, when I became a pop star, I was a pop singer when I began. I had a #1 record, I was a pop star. I saw myself on the front of so many magazines, on TV all the time, and I got really bored of looking at the same face, and I'm sure most people do get bored of looking at the same thing. That's why women bleach their hair, that's why women buy makeup, that's why men grow a beard, that's why they shave the beard off, and I just got really bored, and when I'm bored with things, I alter them.
And it's no attempt on your part. It's not about masculine, feminine. You're not trying to become a woman in any way.
I think if I was going to try and become a woman, I know enough about women to be a darn sight better woman than this. I could be a very good woman because I know all the trickery and everything that they do to build that image. I have no intention of being... In fact, I've got an absolutely ginormous knob. And I would never dream...
natural?
Yes, it is natural, but I would never dream of getting rid of that. I'm Venus with a penis.
Listen, very quickly, 2 things. Is it true that when you were growing up, you were very influenced by Red Indians? You loved American Indians?
Oh, I was absolutely crazy about... I lived in a teepee.
No, he's not making that up. You did live in a teepee, didn't you?
I did, yeah. My mother used to have to bring... I went to school very late. And when I did finally go to school, my terms of being at the school were that I could have my teepee outside in the playground. So she would roll up at break time and set up the teepee. And I'd take up residence in the teepee and take visits from the other children in the teepee, and also I refused to remove my Red Indian headdress and wall plaits. But I was deadly serious about that, so that was a sign of something to come, really.
It really was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The clues were there.
Yeah.
But now, we were thinking about kind of strange habits, and you do have one other strange habit, the shoe thing. Is that true?
Well, do you really want me to be honest with you?
Oh, it's not.
It is true. It is true, but it used to be changing my nose. Before I had a record, I always used to have some surgical procedure, but obviously I've given up on that. So now it's shoes, and I insist on buying at least 2 pairs of shoes before I have a professional showbiz engagement.
So are those new shoes?
These are my wife's shoes. I couldn't find any good ones yesterday.
Oh, actually, can I just